Hello YouTubers, Eldred here. I wanted to use the opportunity to talk about interval training. I was on a ride with my buddy, and he explained to me that there's a lot of stuff on interval training. You know, we've got like GCN and other people on YouTube and other places that put things together. He said, but they don't explain why the durations of work and rest are like 5 minutes on, or 5 minutes on, 2 minutes off, or 5 minutes on, 3 minutes off. He said that doesn't make any sense. So I decided to make this video and kind of explain what they've been leaving out. Interval training, basically, an interval, if you define the word, basically it's a period of time, okay? But who am I to tell you to ride for 5 minutes? I don't know what you're training for. What interval, what period of time are you training for? So, if you're aspiring to say, okay, I'm at the level where I want to be able to break away either from my weekend group or the next race I do, say in the last 5 miles. Well, you need to figure out how long it will take you to cover that 5 miles that's your goal, and at what pace. That determines your training. So I can't tell you 5 minutes on, 3 minutes off. That makes no sense. So, to backtrack, even though you're saying I want to break away with 5 miles to go or whatever, it's a laudable goal. Well, you got to reevaluate where you are. Okay? Are you able to go full gas for that distance or the time it might take if it's windy or it's hilly? Because you can't just, one day you might go out on a course and be able to do 5 miles in a certain period of time, and then the next day with the wind in your face, it might take you longer. So, when you train, you can train either for distance or time. So you start slow. You say, okay, I want to be able to push a certain effort. If you have a power meter, say I want to be able to do 300 watts. Or, you're guessing as to what kind of effort it would take to stay off the front. Okay? Plus, you got to actually factor the effort it would take to get that gap. That means you got to attack for a period of time, which says 30 seconds. When I used to race, 30 seconds, that's a strong enough attack that only strong riders will be able to go with you. And that's the goal. You don't always have to break away alone. When you break away, you want anybody that's coming, you want it to be hard enough so that anybody that can come with you, they're not just wheel suckers. They're going to work with you. They're going to be a strong rider or something like that, unless it's a team playing their tactics. But I digress. Let me come back to the point here. So, let's say for example, I say, okay, you want to be able to get in a gear, whatever the gear may be. And I would say, okay, show me what you can do in that gear. So you have to tell yourself, okay, how long can I do 300 watts, 250 watts, whatever? Because power meters are really great for that because they cut out the variables. Or you say, okay, how long can I stay at my threshold heart rate? So let's say your threshold heart rate is 170 or 175. If you've never been able to stay at that threshold heart rate for a period of time, then you've got to train yourself to be able to either stay there and also go beyond that, because it's going to take an effort above that to first of all break away. I'll use heart rate as an example because most people have heart rate monitors. Power meters are coming along and the price ranges are dropping to where they're getting more common. But let's say heart rate. The problem with heart rate is it takes a while for it to catch up. So for example, when you attack in a big gear, heart rate is not a factor. You're going all out, on a serious attack, you're giving it everything you got. Boom, 30 seconds. You get the gap, you shift to maintain the gap, okay? Then about 3 to 5 minutes later, heart rate catches up. And let's say you're training like that by yourself. And heart rate gets to like 172, right at your threshold. And in 30 seconds after that, you're tired. So then you have to be realistic and say, okay, I need now to work at this level longer or even higher than this level. That's what determines the duration of your interval. Your goals will determine that. So you want to go full gas, turn on your timer. Like if you have a timer or whatever, even on your watch or whatever you got. Most of these Garmin's or whatever have timers on there. Turn on the lap timer and go, balls out. See how long it takes you before your form starts deteriorating or your speed starts dropping. That's your barometer. If you only did 30 seconds, that's okay. Don't hang your head. Then the next time, go and try to do 31, 35, 40 seconds at that same effort. Start extending the durations. And the rest cycle now. So if you did 30 seconds the first time, and all of a sudden your speed start dropping, stop, because you don't want to, you're not going to break away from a group and go slower and stay away. You want to teach your body to go full gas. If you're giving it everything you got, and at some point you can't continue to give it everything you got, you stop. Then you look at your timer, you stop your timer, and you say, oh, I did that for 30 seconds. I went as fast as I could for 30 seconds. Now, you rest. I can't tell you how long that will be. It depends on your condition, your fitness, as to how long it takes you to recover, whether you're reaching your, drink. You keep pedaling, don't stop pedaling. People think you stop, it feels good. No, keep your legs turning to work out the lactic acid. Keep your legs turning. You're in a lower gear because you're resting. And make sure your timer is running again. So now what you're doing is you're getting to know yourself. You're getting to know how long can I go full gas? How long does it take me before I feel like I can go full gas again? That's what determines how long you rest. And as you do it more and more, you will need less time to rest as your body gets acclimated and your fitness improves. So if you did 30 seconds full gas and then you backed off and it took you a minute to rest, over time, you will probably be doing 1-to-1, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. But don't fall for these printed 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 3 minutes on, blah, blah, blah. They don't know you. Because if you go 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off, what if after 30 seconds off, you're still gasping and you're tired and you haven't recovered? The quality of the next interval will be less. You don't want to train your body to go slow. You want to train your body to go fast. It is better to do one high quality interval than 4 crappy ones. So when you're going to go, it needs to be good quality. So your body learns how to go fast, not how to go and slow down. So now I'm going to back away because I talked about full gas. Not every interval has to be full gas. You have to get a feel, besides all these power meters and heart rate monitors. You need to know on a scale. I use a scale 1 to 5. They got scale where it's all they call it the rate of perceived exertion, RPE, on a scale of 1 to 10. I think it's too much of a range. I know when I'm going medium, what I call 2.5. I know when I'm going very easily. That's 1. I know when I'm going a little below my top speed. I call that level 4. It's good enough. You don't have to be exact, but you should know when you're giving it everything you got, or when you giving maybe 50%, or when you're giving 75%. So you should have days where you train, say the first day of the week, on a Tuesday when you're fresh after your rest on Monday. That's the day when you want to go really hard You may be able to only do 1 or 2 or maybe 3 or 4 or 5. Doesn't matter. The numbers doesn't matter. Don't lie to yourself. You will know when you're giving it 100%. So if you do the first one and you're tired, that means you haven't rested from the weekend before. Okay, or from whatever you did over the weekend. That's okay. Stop the interval. If you still want to ride easy. Zone 1, zone 2. And just ride and enjoy the ride. Let your body rest. On Wednesday, you might feel better. Or Thursday, you might feel better. And that's when you give it. But the key is, when you decide to do intervals, you want to have a day where you're doing full gas. Then you have a day where you're doing threshold. That's lower than full gas, but higher than endurance. So that you're training your body to where you can go full gas to open the gap and then come down and be right at red line to sustain that forever. So if you never train, say, and do 10-minute intervals where you're right at your red line, then you can't expect to do that in a race. And that's why you need somebody to help you put together a structured plan so that you have in one micro cycle in a week. Tuesday, when you do your harder, you do your sprints or whatever, you build your power, you put it in a big gear and you go. I'll do some videos that focus on, I'll do a video for the Tuesday workout, do a video for the Wednesday workout, do a video for Thursday workout, Friday, and so forth, because there's so much to cover. But what I want to focus on in this video is that don't get hung up on, I got to go hard for 5 minutes and I got to go and rest for 3 minutes. Why? That was what my buddy asked me. Why they come up with 3 minutes? And why 5 minutes? So what you have to do is to say, my goal is to be able to break away and go hard after breaking away from the group for say 15 to 20 minutes. That determines your interval then. So then you want to train, because you can't go full gas for 20 minutes. You can go full gas to break away, get the gap, establish it, and then drop the intensity so it may be about threshold, like time trial pace. So you have to train for whatever you're trying to accomplish, what your goals are. So you determine what your intervals are. If you're going to be sustaining efforts for 10, 20 minutes, you got to train like that. You got to go out on certain days, and after your warm up, go hard, at threshold for 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you're trying to accomplish. But now you will know why you're working for 10, 20 minutes. Then you have to determine how long it takes you after that. You may not be able to do 20 minutes the first time at that level. So be honest with yourself. Maybe start with 5 minutes and build up 7 minutes, 9, and whatever until you get to that during the season. But if you've already been doing that, then what you could do is definitely extend the time, because as you ride at threshold for 10 minutes over time, your body will put out more power at that level. So you will be getting stronger, so you will need more challenges anyway. So then you'll be able to go faster at that level. You will still be at threshold, but your speed will be faster. And that's the reason you train there. But what determines how hard you go first is based on what you're trying to accomplish. If you want to ride hard for an hour, you may need to do 4 intervals of 12 minutes when you start to get your body at least a break in between. You might go 12 minutes on and then see whether you only need 4 minutes to rest before you feel like you can do it again. Because you may not be able to just go for 1 hour hard at that level the first time. You got to build up to it. So a lot of the top athletes, when they're training for, say, the hour record and other things, they break them up. Because mentally and physically, you can focus on 12 minutes hard, rest, do 12 minutes again. Then what you start doing is you start dropping the rest interval between those 12 minutes. So if the first time you did 12 minutes hard and you rested for 4 minutes and you did 12 minutes and you did 4 of them, so you got 48 minutes, let's say, for example, if you were trying to do an hour hard. Then the next time you will go 12 minutes hard and see if 2 minutes of rest will be enough. See if you've done enough as you train over a macro cycle, like a 4 to 6 week period. So what I'm trying to get to is, don't get stuck on 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off. They don't know you. You may not need 3 minutes on. When you're fit, you can go full gas and rest for 30 seconds and go again. That's what it's all about, because after a while, you won't need that much rest. And what's going to happen is, boom, you attack. Somebody goes with you. As soon as they give you a wheel, you get in the draft. 10 seconds, you reach for a bottle. You're ready to go again. That's the goal. That's bike ride. That's fast riding. So don't get hung up on these rest intervals. The rest intervals teach your body to process lactic acid. But if you've done your base training and you've put in the miles, when you go hard, you may not need that long of a rest. So you can't take those formulas that people write out there. It may not apply to you. And it may not apply to a novice either. So I try to explain to people that your rest intervals is determined by you. It's determined by how long it takes you to feel like I can go that hard again, or even harder than I went the first time. Because every time you do the interval, you need to either hit that same effort or better. If you feel like you can't do it again, you stop. The interval's over for that day. Finish your ride. Don't teach your body to do less than optimal. Okay, so leave all your questions below. I just wanted to cover this, and I will continue this series and start focusing on specific videos for each day of the week. But I wanted to cover intervals because I think it's a topic that needed to be addressed. There are too many standard interval stuff out there, and it just doesn't represent real life. In the pack, when you go hard, you may not have 4 minutes to rest. You may not have 10 seconds to rest. So you better be ready to train yourself to where you know how to dose out your effort, depending on where you are. If you watch the pros, when they're solo, they break away and they're by themselves, they give it everything. When they're with other riders in a breakaway, they keep a little something. So always keep that in mind. When you train alone, you can go balls to the wall out. But when you're in a group ride or whatever and you're with other people, you've got to dose it out. If you give it everything you got, you might get dropped from the break. You know, because it's not the finish line unless it's the finish line. So it's different when you're riding with people. You always got to keep a little something for emergencies to be able to close that gap or chase that wheel, because everybody else around you might be doing different things. You know, so keep that in mind. Don't get hung up on, I got to go 5 minutes on, 3 minutes on. It means nothing. It doesn't apply to you. What you need to focus on is that when you go hard, you want to hit the zone you're targeting. If you're going full gas, you want to go full gas. But you got to make sure you're rested to really go full gas. There's no point in doing intervals when you're tired. It doesn't accomplish anything. It just makes you even more tired. So you're going to do intervals, you got to be rested. You know. So when I cover the videos about the days of the week, I will also cover when you should rest before your big events. How much rest is recommended. And that's another variable that's in there too. You got to really learn to know yourself. That's why I'm doing these videos. I want people to start focusing on themselves. We're all unique. One formula doesn't work for everybody. So you pay your dues, you get the miles in. You may not even need to rest. When you go full gas, you might just keep going for a while before you even need to take a break. That's the beauty of cycling. You know, you put it in the bank and it's there. You never lose it. So be safe out there, and stay tuned to the channel for more content.